With a single dive, the eagle turns open space into a trap. It is not just power, but timing calculated with chilling precision. From above, it observes, waits, then closes in with a decisive approach. The moment it begins to descend, nearly every escape route disappears at once. That is what makes it one of the most formidable rulers of the sky. Mountain goats are masters of balance, holding firm on ledges barely 2 inches wide. With a body weight of around 150 pounds, their specialized hooves make them nearly untouchable on sheer cliffs. Yet along this fragile boundary, there exists a predator that has turned gravity into its most formidable ally, the golden eagle. Once a target is identified, often a young or isolated individual, the eagle dives like an arrow through the air at astonishing speed. It does not attempt to lift prey that can weigh up to 10 times its own body mass. Instead, it uses immense momentum to force the goat off its secure footing. In a brief moment, the predator leverages drops of hundreds of feet to determine the outcome. The combination of precise calculation and the risk of free fall transforms the open air into an inescapable arena. As the dust settles, silence returns to the mountains. The lesson of the cliff is always costly. By using force and terrain, the eagle turns an uneven encounter into a display of refined strategy, a true master of survival. Survival on the Savannah is a game of fragile probabilities. To sustain a powerful body of around 14 pounds, the martial eagle is driven to take on its boldest challenges, engaging targets several times its own weight. Its opponent is the antelope, a master of speed capable of bursts near 50 miles per hour and leaps up to 10 feet to break away. Yet in the wild, heightened vigilance can sometimes work against the herd, triggering sudden, chaotic movement under pressure. If a young individual falls out of rhythm for even a moment, the martial eagle narrows its nearly 8-foot wingspan, turning its entire body mass into a focused aerial impact. Rather than prolonged pursuit, it relies on gravity to generate an impact force of roughly 400 pounds per square inch. This force is concentrated through its talons, quickly overpowering the target to meet its energy demands. In another moment, a mother antelope attempts to turn her body into a living shield for her young. But such efforts often last only an instant. A brief lapse is enough for the young to be separated from protection and lifted from the ground. Nature wastes no movement. Every loss sustains another cycle of life. That is the unforgiving rule of survival. Australia is home to the largest marsupial on Earth. The red kangaroo appears as a surge of muscle, weighing up to 200 pounds, balancing on a tail as sturdy as steel, and standing nearly 6 feet tall amid sun-scorched grass. It is not merely a grazer, it is a vigilant, reactive stronghold, equipped with a kick powerful enough to command respect. Yet from the heated air above, a massive shadow begins its descent. With a wingspan reaching nearly 10 feet, the wedge-tailed eagle engages vision that functions like a zoom lens, locking onto a target from up to 2 miles away. A calculated challenge against a symbol of strength begins, reflecting the intensity of survival. The aerial approach does not begin with brute force, but with precise calculation. The eagle narrows its wings and dives like an arrow through the wind. Its most formidable asset is not the hooked beak, but razor-sharp talons, capable of stopping a target's escape in an instant. For a young kangaroo, this becomes a decisive moment shaped by timing and position. In rare situations, 2 or 3 individuals coordinate their movements, taking turns descending from multiple angles to wear down the opponent's stamina. However, the kangaroo does not yield easily. It uses its tail as a brace, ready to counter any approach that comes too close. The encounter ends in the stillness of the outback, with no outcome claimed. Yet the wedge-tailed eagle has demonstrated that it possesses the resolve to challenge even the most formidable ground-dwelling opponents. In the three-dimensional world of the Amazon canopy, primates rely on the dense web of branches as an almost impenetrable refuge. With leaps exceeding 30 feet, they command the air through refined agility. Yet nature always creates a perfect counterbalance: the harpy eagle. With a wingspan of over 6.5 feet, this predator can tilt its body up to 90 degrees, navigating through narrow gaps just inches wide with remarkable precision. Once a target is locked, its talons, larger than those of a polar bear, apply an extraordinary gripping force. Even species with exceptional hold, such as sloths, can be pulled away from the tree by this powerful mechanical force. The moment the target is lifted from the canopy, the encounter is effectively decided. The eagle's strength lies in turning the complexity of the forest into an advantage, transforming the smallest openings into pathways to success. It is the pinnacle of survival strategy. Within the hierarchy of the grasslands, ground predators such as wolves and coyotes often carry themselves as dominant hunters. Armed with powerful jaws, they rarely concern themselves with threats from above. Yet the golden eagle does not follow those rules. It is a disruptor of order, willing to confront some of the most formidable hunters with a single turn of the body. The encounter begins when a cunning coyote attempts to take over animal remains. With a bite force of more than 200 pounds per square inch, it repeatedly makes probing feints to test the sky predator's reaction. But the eagle does not give ground easily. It spreads its massive wings to amplify its size and uses its sharp talons as a solid defensive barrier. The clash between teeth and talons unfolds in complete caution. Even with wolves, nothing comes easily. In a decisive moment, the eagle descends from hundreds of feet above, turning gravity into a powerful dive. The confrontation often ends quickly before those on the ground can fully respond. Because in nature, not a single moment is wasted. The water's surface is a master of deception. Light bends through layers of ripples, causing the prey's position to shift between what is real and what appears to be. To succeed, the eagle relies not only on sharp vision, but also on the ability to read the movement of the water from hundreds of feet above. The eagle quietly scans the lake, waiting for the moment a fish swims closer to the surface or appears within an open patch of water. When the opportunity emerges, it folds its wings, adjusts its descent, and extends its talons, touching the surface in an instant to secure the target. And success does not always come from a direct attempt. At times, its presence and timing alone are enough to prompt other birds to release their catch. The encounter concludes with a decisive wing beat toward the forest canopy. In the world of fishing hunters, the reward doesn't belong to the one who dives the most, but to the one who reads the water correctly and acts at the perfect moment. On open grassland, speed has never been a guaranteed ticket to survival. The hare depends on constant changes of direction, using its powerful hind legs to burst to around 45 miles per hour and carve sharp zigzag paths that throw off the rhythm of most pursuers. But the eagle does not hunt through strength alone. The moment the prey cuts in a new direction, it instantly spreads its tail feathers like a rudder in midair, tightening its flight path through sharp turns with remarkable precision. In a single moment, its talons close in, turning the hare's speed advantage into a mistake that cannot be corrected in time. A 30% success rate may not seem high, but it is enough to maintain order across the grasslands. In this world, the one that prevails is not simply the fastest, but the one that controls momentum more effectively. The ruler of the Savannah rises, releasing waves of muscle power through thunderous pounces that shake the ground. It surges forward like a golden storm, sweeping across the plains with the instincts of a master hunter. Before every obstacle and rival, that authority has rarely wavered. Along the narrow edge where survival is tested, the lion doesn't pursue prey merely to endure. It moves with the quiet confidence of true dominance. Across the African savanna, lions are the only big cats that live in organized prides, where the females lead most hunts through coordination and experience. An adult male often weighs around 420 pounds, his thick mane acting like a natural shield that both signals status and helps reduce risk during territorial disputes. Within the savanna ecosystem, the lion's true strength lies in discipline, timing, and the balance between short-term success and long-term cost. Do not let the label scavenger be misleading. Spotted hyenas are formidable fighters, organized within a disciplined matriarchal society. With a bite force exceeding 1,100 pounds per square inch, each individual weighing around 150 pounds becomes part of a tightly connected force when united, an assembly strong enough to challenge even the most dominant rulers. Yet the savanna already has its guardians. To defend their position, lions do not wait. They move first. With a clear advantage in size and presence, a male lion embodies raw strength. Powerful swipes from the forelimbs are not merely displays of force. They are meant to disorient and quickly break the resolve of a rival. In their world, taking the initiative is often the most effective way to confront direct competitors. On the other side, the hyenas persist. They rely on their numbers to harass and pressure, patiently waiting for an opening from a lone king. It becomes a complex dance of survival, intense yet calculated. After each confrontation, balance returns once again. Lions help limit hyena numbers, while hyenas help clear the savanna, keeping the ecosystem in motion. On the horizon, a giraffe rises like a living tower. Standing nearly 18 feet tall, with pillar-like legs and kicks powerful enough to turn distance into a forbidden zone. Its patterned coat blends into the late afternoon light, creating a calm presence that seems almost untouchable. But when two males clash in a contest, their heavy neck swings quicken the breath. Their steps fall out of rhythm, revealing a rare moment of vulnerability. Hidden in the grass, the lions do not miss that moment. They observe, compare, and wait for the more exhausted individual to lose balance. Once the target is clear, the formation spreads like a tightening net, guiding the giraffe toward uneven ground, where long strides lose their advantage and speeds of nearly 35 miles per hour cannot fully unfold. The distance closes. A rush comes from behind to slow the momentum, followed by a swift sidestep to avoid the counterstrike. With no path to retreat, the giraffe pivots and unleashes a powerful backward kick that cuts through the air. But at the decisive moment, one key hunter leaps onto its back, tipping the delicate axis of balance. The towering body loses footing and drops heavily to the ground. The chase ends in a single sudden turn. On the savannah, terrain and timing can sometimes be sharper than strength itself. In the natural world, if the rhinoceros resembles an armored fortress, the lion represents one of the most daring risk-takers. Weighing more than 5,000 pounds and protected by skin nearly 2 inches thick, a rhino carries a natural defense that challenges even the sharpest claws. Yet when hunger pushes hunting instincts to their limits, a tense confrontation can begin. Across low grass and uneven mounds of earth, lions lower their bodies and circle quietly from behind, the direction where the rhino's view is most limited. The goal is not an immediate takedown, but to disrupt its rhythm of movement and wait for a brief opening as it turns. The rhino responds with a burst of speed close to 30 miles per hour, pivoting like a steel gate, while its horn sweeps wide enough to force any close approach to pause. A rare opportunity appears when the rhino slips into mud near the edge of a watering hole. Rather than retreating, the lions move closer, testing a fragile opening. But the advantage lasts only moments. The rhino gathers its strength, surges free from the mud, and charges forward like a powerful wave of muscle. The lions pull back, not from lack of resolve, but from recognizing the limits of facing an opponent still capable of a strong counter. It becomes a valuable reminder. In nature, the boldest challenger is not always the one who controls the outcome. African wild dogs are among the most enduring athletes of the savannah. Each individual weighs only about 70 pounds, yet carries the stamina to sustain a chase across many miles. With large ears acting like sensitive radar stations, the pack moves as a finely tuned system, where survival depends on discipline and deep understanding among its members. When a lioness enters their territory, the pack quickly forms a surrounding strategy. Rather than risking a direct confrontation, they launch repeated probing rushes, using their numbers to create relentless psychological pressure. Faced with constant harassment from every direction, a lone lioness will often withdraw rather than waste precious energy. But that balance can break instantly when a male lion weighing more than 400 pounds appears. In that moment, the pack's encircling tactics lose their advantage against overwhelming strength. There is no prolonged pursuit. The pack loses the edge, and the slowest dog is pushed out of position. A new order settles across the plain as the wild dogs scatter, keeping a careful distance while quietly acknowledging the authority that has just swept across the savannah. If the rhinoceros is an armored fortress, the African buffalo resembles the true tanks of the savannah. An adult can weigh around 2,000 pounds, with massive shoulders, thick hide, and, most importantly, a temperament that rarely retreats. That enormous reserve of energy makes the buffalo one of the most practical targets for lions. A high risk, yet a reward large enough for a hunting pride to consider. Within the sea of golden grass, a single slower step can change everything. The rhythm of the hunt shifts instantly. The lions adjust their formation, spreading out, lowering their bodies, and moving along both flanks to cut angles and block any return to the herd. They do not rush to overwhelm the target. Instead, they extend the pressure, testing reactions while waiting for signs of fatigue. Forces the hunters to pause, because A forces the hunters to pause, because a single misstep could place them within the dangerous reach beneath those hooves. Then distant hoofbeats echo across the grass. The herd returns, forming a unified mass, raising a wall of horns that pushes the pressure back. The balance shifts in an instant. The solitary animal is no longer alone. And in the wild, the greatest strength is not always muscle. It is the power of standing together. Across the savanna grasslands, zebras stand out with black and white stripes that ripple like a moving illusion. An adult can weigh around 700 pounds, with strong legs and a backward kick capable of delivering tremendous force, enough to make any pursuing predator think twice. When moving in a herd, the overlapping stripes blend together, disrupting a hunter's ability to isolate a single target. Lions understand this well. With an average success rate of about 25%, every encounter becomes a test of patience. Coordinating individuals use the terrain to close within about 100 feet before launching a sudden burst of speed. The focus is usually on a zebra that drifts away from the protective flow of the herd. In the decisive moment, the pursuer accelerates to nearly 35 miles per hour, carefully adjusting its path to match the movement of its target. Even while facing powerful defensive kicks from the hind legs, persistence and precise teamwork gradually shift the balance. After sustained effort, the predator completes the natural cycle of interaction and secures control of its objective. In the wild, Survival depends not only on strength, but on understanding the rhythm of nature. Each encounter reflects the enduring balance that shapes life across the savannah. The eagle does not merely fly across the sky, it holds the highest position in the aerial order. Every glide and every close approach reinforces its command over the heights. Amid the harsh forces of nature, it remains a symbol of strength, resilience, and unmatched vision. As long as those wings continue to cast their shadow over the mountains and forests, the throne of the sky remains unchanged. To continue following these powerful moments, be sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss the journeys ahead.